Guys, this is what Lorcana week is going to be like. We are truly in for it. No, but seriously, 13 cards today on just Monday. Crazy week. Let's get right into it. Let's break them all down. Because, honestly, we got some bad cards and we got some good cards, but mostly bad cards. So let's try and get through this quick. Let's go. All right. Ursulas Cauldron is a 2-cost, uninkable item for Amethyst with the ability of Peer into the Depths, which is exert this, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one on the top of your deck and the other on the bottom, creating this wonderful world of sifting. So, what are our strengths? It's cheap, repeatable effect that allows you to get away with more uninkables in your deck, smoothing out the curve of your draws, allows you to play less copies of a card also, adds deck consistency. Weakness, it's uninkable, needs to be drawn early to have an effect on the game. The opportunity, of course, is that it allows you to play more tech cards in your main deck, helps combos, helps keep your other items safe from removal as a high-value target. Threats, as always, for any item, beast hard-headed. So, honestly, I don't plan on spending too much time on any card in this video as we're getting through, and we got lots to cover in the entire week, but this is one of my favorite cards revealed today. I think it's a wonderful thing to be doing on turn 2 for Amethyst. It really will shape the rest of your game. It'll continuously give you the card selection to help you hitting your Maleficents, help you hitting your friends with friends on the other side, help you continue making the best possible draw for the entirety of the game if you can play it on 2. And for that, I'm a big fan of Cauldron. Hope it works out. Hope we can get it in early and just continuously fill out the rest of our draws. Let's get into the next one. The Poisoned Apple gets an A+ for art, gets an A+ for flavor. Love everything about it. So 3-cost, uninkable item for Ruby with the ability of take a bite, which is pay 1 resource and banish this item to exert chosen character. If a princess character is chosen, banish her instead. Yeah, seriously, the flavor of this card is maximum levels of awesome. Was very excited. It was really cool. In an upcoming video, you'll see that I recorded with Jacob from Ready, Set, Draw. This was literally spoiled in the middle of the interview, so you get to hear a little bit of a, straight up hot take in the moment response from us. Look forward to it on the channel. But back to this one. Let's get into the strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. Strengths for Poison Apples. It can sit and play until needed. Combos really well with Aladdin, Heroic Outlaw, and Milan if you can't banish a princess. A weakness, of course, it's uninkable. It is expensive upfront cost instead of playing a character. Needs to trade with a higher cost princess to be worth the slot. Might be a little too niche. The opportunity, of course, is if princesses become more of a prevalent in any metagame, Ruby has a powerful answer to combo with it in other removal options. Allows you to sit in the game until late in the game. Will limit when your opponent can actually play. Build a deck to be able to skip turn 3 to play it, and at a later cost, it isn't as negligible. The threats, of course, enough princesses at higher cost points to really matter. Current targets that come to mind are Moana and Aurora Dreaming Guardian are above curve, but, aforementioned, there isn't any crazy amounts of 5, 6, and 7s that are an immediate threat to the game. Later on in the video, we'll talk about Jasmine. This is a nice way to get rid of Jasmine. It's a nice way to get rid of Rapunzel, but all their abilities have already gone off, so it doesn't feel like the greatest trade ever. So hopefully if we, if there is a prevalent princess that is a 6 or 7 or 8 cost, that's really impactful on the metagame. This card's, will just obviously always go up. But the fact that it's in the game, that it exists, it's always kind of a silver bullet option. So it's hard to say it's automatically playable right now, but it's definitely easy to say that at any moment princesses get out of hand, we're going to be really happy to have Poison Apple. Let's get to the next one. Sudden Chill. And with this, just because I'm, remembering, huge shout out to all of the content creators, Inkwell, Illumineers, B Squared, the Uninkables, Hobbies and Happiness, all of the videos releasing all the spoiled cards from the day, from Monday, were phenomenal. Shout out to you guys. You totally earned it. Awesome videos. Seriously, if you haven't yet, check them out. They're really, really great videos. A lot of them either made me excited, they made me laugh, they created fun conversations afterwards. All in all, wonderful job, guys. Congratulations. Now, let's get into this one. Sudden Chill. Sudden Chill is a 2-cost inkable action for Emerald. It's also a song. Each opponent chooses and discards a card. The strengths of Sudden Chill are cheap, song, discard in any form can be strong, especially given the lack of consistent draw we have seen thus far. The weakness, we may have a little impact in the late game if opponent is playing off the top. Clashes with the bounce cards in Emerald currently, kind of a nombo. The opportunity, of course, is good for song decks. Amber as a cheap, efficient song, and even if it cannot be sung, so good with Shell. Good with Flynn to take an even higher part of their hand away. Threats, not enough impact to warrant a deck inclusion. This is another one where we're starting to see the layers of it. Flynn was number 1. This is number 2. If we start seeing a little bit more of these cards, if we get a character that when it enters play, it makes your opponent discard. If you really start adding these things up, we start seeing more and more discard, then I believe, the synergy of it all will compound into a very playable deck. So we'll have to see what happens. All in all, I'm a big fan of Sudden Chill. I'm a big fan of discard in general. Definitely fits my play style. And I think that if we get a couple more pieces, might work out. You might actually be able to play like a pretty substandard discard deck early on. Next one. We forgot to change the name, but it is Lefou the Instigator. So Lefou the Instigator is a 2-cost inkable character for Ruby, 2 strength, 2 willpower, and 1 lore, with, of course, the ability of Fan the Flames. When you play this character, ready chosen character, they can't quest for the rest of the turn. Really, really simple and easy for this one, guys. Fan the Flames on a character. That's a good strength. Weakness is too much is the question that I'm really asking right now. The character isn't a solid on-curve character, so you're not playing this on 2. You're probably playing this on 5 or playing this on 6 or much later in the game to get 2 activations out of Milan or get 2 activations out of Aladdin, which is our opportunities, of course. And then the threats is too simply just might cost too much. You already have Ready on the Flame. Playing this guy later in the game is not threatening. So unless we really are setting up these combo-oriented decks that need 4 Fan the Flames and 4 Lefous, so you can get the most out of challenging with Milan or the most out of challenging with Aladdin, and maybe there's other things coming up, then I'm not certain that this card is going to really deem itself worthy for Ruby decks. Time will tell. The effect itself is always nice to have, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Next one. Cut to the Chase. Cut to the Chase is a 2-cost inkable action for Ruby. Chosen character gains rush this turn. Cut to the Chase's strengths are it's a surprise factor. It allows for characters like Aladdin, Heroic Outlaw, and Milan to activate abilities out of nowhere. The weakness, of course, is a bit expensive. It's a one-time effect. Run actual rush characters, of course, is something you can be doing. Too much opportunity cost of a card and an ink value. The opportunity may allow for card advantage trades at a high opportunity cost. In all honesty, you should probably just run Pocket Watch. The threats is probably too low of an impact. And, I love the art on this card. It's magnificent. And the storytelling is wonderful within it. But 2 to give your guy rush means that, you have to play really weird off-curve stuff to make the most out of it. And in all honesty, Pocket Watch is just so much better. And I know it's a different color and I know it's an item, but when you have to draw comparisons, and right now that's the best comparison, and Pocket Watch is already on the layer of being fringe in most decks. So that makes this card even worse in my opinion. I don't think it's going to make the cut in a lot of different lists in all honesty, but moving on. Captain Hook, the Ruthless Pirate, is a 7-cost uninkable character for Ruby with 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore, and he has the ability of Rush, and of course, the ability of You Coward. When this character is exerted, opposing characters with evasive gain Reckless. And because I think it's incredibly fitting, his flavor text is, you wouldn't dare fight Old Hook man to man. He's a storyborn, villain, pirate, captain, all types of thing that might have some synergies with him. First and foremost, like seriously, this card's great. I love it. I love the flavor of it. I love the storyborn aspect of it. I think it's wonderful that he's actively combating with Pan, just similar to the movies. A lot of really cool things to be learned from this character, and like, off the charts, off the charts. Let's break down to them though. Strength for Captain Hook, Ruthless Pirates. Rush, solid combat stats, shuts down evasives, potentially getting you a 2 or 3 for 1 just by himself, with forcing them to run into his 5/5 body. Might see play as a 1-of. The weakness, it's uninkable, it's expensive, it competes with own ink colors for top-end characters. It does have a pretty niche ability. The opportunity is, if you can fit another uninkable in your deck, he would see play as a decent 1-of in your deck, backed up by card draw. He has all the right stats, except he's uninkable. The threats, just other options with his own or companion ink. Ruby has other ways of dealing with evasive. The removal, be prepared, of course, is a highlight of it. So you may not be needed at a top end. So while I think the guy is flavorful, I think he's doing some really cool and interesting things. If evasive gets out of hand, similar to Poison Apple, you're seeing now a lot of Ruby cards that are very particular at being silver bullets. And this is one of those silver bullets. In a world where we have sideboards, this is probably an auto include in any version of it, along with the other cards that we've already mentioned, Poison Apple, and a card coming up that we haven't gotten to yet. All in all, love the flavor of Hook. I think he will likely make the cut as a 1-of in most decks, but the concept of having the ability to have multiple in the right meta and in the right, time period for the game, it's really nice to already have this card. So we'll have to see what kind of impact it has early. And more. Tangle. Tangle is a 2-cost inkable action. Simply says each opponent loses 1 lore. The strength, multiplayer, it's inkable, fits into lore denial strategies with Aladdin and Rapunzel. The weakness, expensive, one-time effect, low impact on board states. Opportunity, again, multiplayer. Threats, low impact. So you can see there's a lot of repeating going on there because it really is hyper niche. It's only going to see play in decks that are all about stealing lore or removing lore from your opponent, which is fun. It's great. I think in multiplayer, this card's wonderful and is probably one of the better things to be doing in multiplayer once we kind of start exploring that a bit more. But all in all, you're not going to play this card in every Ruby deck. It's only going to be played in whatever this lore theft deck or something like that, where you're pairing it with cards like Rapunzel and cards like Aladdin, and you have the different ways to utilize them as best to their abilities. But hard to say that this is going to make a true impact on any board state, and you're really going to have to just get so much out of removing your opponent's lore over and over again. Whereas if this was on a character, so it was kind of like a 2-point swing where it's all right, here's my 2-drop, 1/1 even, take a lore from you, and then, just remove a lore from you, and then I still represent a lore, similar to a smaller Aladdin. I think it's a little bit better, but on an action and not leaving anything else behind, I don't think there's gonna be room for this card. I think it's gonna be pretty bad, in all honesty. But they can't all be winners, guys. Next one. The Sword of Truth is a 4-cost, uninkable item for Ruby. Final enchantment, banish this item, banish chosen villain. So, of course, love the flavor. Incredible. The art is really, really subtle. It's really plain. It's really simple. But in all honesty, I have a lot of hopes for this card. I think the foil versions of this are going to look really sick. But let's break it down. Sword of Truth's strengths. Large number of targets with villain in the trait that will only get better over time. It's an evergreen ability. Weakness, it's uninkable and it's expensive. It competes within its own ink color for the ability, too niche to warrant as uninkable. The opportunity is there is a decent amount of high-end targets for villains, and the threats, of course, are Dragonfire costs 5 and hits any target. So I really like getting more of these banish items for Ruby, similar that we've seen in the past from Frying Pan. But now we're getting even more and more of these things, which is really cool. It is really interesting, but they are all super hyper niche. This and Poison Apple, very, very niche. So they're all going to be kind of warranted towards a particular metagame. They're all like A+ sideboard cards, but if we don't have sideboards and that doesn't exist, then playing this is going to be an absolute opportunity of cost of a high risk, high reward scenario. Whereas in the right metagame, it's going to be phenomenal. In the wrong metagame, it's going to be a 4-cost uninkable in your deck that you may never, ever want to play. So, got to take the goods and the bads. Next one. He's Got a Sword is a 1-cost inkable action for Ruby. Chosen character gets plus true strength with the, of course, flavor text of "We've all got swords." One of my favorite. In all honesty, again, I've mentioned this before in the past. Abu is like one of my favorite characters in all of Disney. Always made me laugh. Love him. Excited to see more art with him. And yeah, let's break it down. He's Got a Sword. Strengths. Cheap and inkable. Allows small characters to swing up on curve. Weakness. One-time effect that will auto-cause card disadvantage, though may gain tempo and card quality. The opportunity is to play with evasives to not be able to be challenged back too often. The threats. Low impact, and in all honesty, guys, this is worse than Vicious Betrayal, and that card's real bad. So this card is pretty bad. I don't think this is going to see much play either. Just, yeah, Ruby didn't need this one, guys. Sorry. Moving on. Belle, strange but special. And oh my goodness, guys. Scott's back. Listen. I know we do this all the time, but Scott's back. Strengths. He wrote the SWOT, guys. He wrote it for you guys. He wanted to make sure you knew all the facts and knew everything. So help me out. All right. Help me out. Help me get over this hump. Hit the like button for me. Hit me with a comment. Let me know what your favorite card from Lorcana week has been so far, no matter what day you're watching this video. What's been your favorite card in the week? Hit me up. Let me know. But let's go back to the SWOT and let's talk about what Scott loves about this card. The strengths of Belle. First, let's break her down. She is an inkable 4-cost character for Sapphire. She has 2 strength and 4 willpower with 1 lore. She has 2 abilities. The first is Read a Book. During your turn, you may put an additional card from your hand into your inkwell face down. My favorite part is her second ability's name, which is when you have 10 or more cards in your inkwell, this character gets +4 lore. I mean, seriously, guys, this card potentially on its own represents 5 lore once you have 10 or more resources. That officially is the highest lore count on a single character in the game. I have been really hoping for a 10-cost character for Sapphire, but this ability on this card is effectively a 10-cost concept. And I love it. It's flavorful. It's wonderful. Both of the abilities are so great. They work so well with everlasting concepts of the lore, the mechanics, the ability of reading in general and gaining more knowledge and becoming more powerful. I love everything about this card, like everything. But let's break her down. The strength for Belle is, yes, she is the waifu for Scott. He's back from vacation, guys, as I mentioned earlier. This is inkable. It allows you to ramp by having a good size hand. It can be a huge payoff for ramping your resources or just get to it naturally. Amazing payoff for Sapphire. Solid play at any time of the game. Potentially the highest lore seen in the game so far. She's a princess, so we have all that added bonus. And she does something even when she does nothing. Lots and lots of things to be happy about for this card. Weakness, she is a below average combat stats. Her strength is lower. The willpower is, pretty much on average or fine. The 1 base lore, and she is legendary, so she's going to be a little bit hard to acquire. The opportunity, other ramp effects, pair with Amethyst for card draw and protection, with freezing, pair with Amber for card draw, like Rapunzel, or pair with Steel for, of course, a whole new world. The threats, needs card draw to be effective, cannot afford to quest with her early on. Emerald cannot quest, or Reckless cards would definitely be a problem. So this card has pretty much everything that Sapphire fans have been wanting. Shout out to our friend Citizens of Lorcana, who definitely hit me up immediately after seeing this. Really excited for him and Team Sapphire, of course. But yeah, this is a good one. This is really powerful. This is definitely it's the card that Sapphire wanted the most, because it's a payoff. It's finally something to do with all these extra resources to gain, such an advantage. And the idea that you can get this character out as early as turn 3, and just so we're understanding, guys, if we one jump ahead onto play Belle on 3 by inking a resource, you can then ink another resource on 3. So now you're already at 5. You go into the next turn, you can ink, and go to 7. So you can be on 7 resources as early as turn 4, which is out of this world powerful. You can do a lot of things with 7 resources on turn 4 and completely, just remove a lot of your opponent's steam. So a lot to be happy about with this card. It is so much fun. It's so great to see it. I cannot wait to play with it. But let's move forward. Next one. Mother Gothel is a 6-cost inkable emerald card with 3 strength, 6 royal power, and 2 lore, with the ability of skip the drama, stay with mama. While this character is exerted, opposing characters can't quest. I mean, just real quick, emerald is starting to be the meanest color in Disney Lorcana because all of its cards reads, no, you're not allowed to do what you want to do. No, you're going to do what I want you to do. And that is so powerful. And this card, this card is fun. And it's so mean. Let's break her down. Solid stats, including 2 lore. Very powerful ability, especially combined with bodyguard or keeping the board clear. Bounce or healing, it's inkable. The weakness, it is expensive top end for low strength, especially when they cannot quest anyway. The opportunity is it's powerful late game, option to pair with Ruby or Steel after Be Prepared or similar board clearing from Steel. The threats, pinpoint removal in her own ink color. John Silver is likely the better option. While John Silver could end up being better, he's a 5/5 for 6. He gives things reckless. And he forces them into doing different things. This is a little bit lower of stat curves, but the fact that it can just flat out say you can't quest also, you might just want both of them. You might see, an outlining effect of these, such as with Jasper included. There's all these different ways to basically tell your opponent, no, you cannot do what you need to do to attempt to win the game. You cannot gain lore. You cannot quest with these characters. And you're just forcing them into doing things they just don't want. So whatever layer of these cards ends up being the best overall package or the best overall synergy it hasn't been discovered yet. But as we get the opportunity to play with the cards, get more games in, get the information, this card definitely has a good chance of being a pretty standout card for Emerald. So I'm excited for it. Next one. Work Together. Work Together is a 1-cost inkable action for Sapphire. Chosen character gains support this turn. That's what it does on an action. Yeah. All right, let's break it down. Strength. Support can help with trading, and it's inkable. It's a 1-cost action when Scepter of Arendelle is a card. And I want to be clear, guys. Scepter of Arendelle is a 1-cost inkable item that exerts and does the same exact thing as this action. This card's bad. This card's not good, guys. I'm sorry. It's not. The opportunity is if right? Listen, guys, seriously, I'm not kidding about this. If the opportunity for this card is that you can light it on fire and it might warm you up. you're never gonna play this card. This card's bad. Never gonna play this card. Maybe in limited at best, but in a constructed format, you are never going to play this card. Move on to the next. Jasmine, Queen of Agrabah is a 5-cost inkable sapphire character, 2 strength, 5 willpower, and 2 lore. She has shift 3 with the ability of Caretaker. When you play this character and whenever she quests, you may remove up to 2 damage from each of your characters. So this is now the second character in the game that we're seeing like this that has the ability of when she comes into play, she does something, and when she quests, she does something. So much like John Silver, she has a double downing effect, and her effect is also immediate to the game. Really, really fun concept. Really, really cool for Jasmine. Really phenomenal art. Break her down. Jasmine, the Queen of Agrabah's strengths. She's solid stats, including 2 lore. Ability is when played and when questing, so she will be a huge nuisance for your opponent. If she is not removed in 1 turn, she will likely have no damage on her the next turn. She's a princess and queen, and she's a 5-cost that helps you sing valuable songs. The weakness, of course, does have low strength. Her shift cost is equal to the only Jasmine we have. Maybe we're going to get a 2-cost, hopefully. Slightly expensive, but really, this card could not cost any lower. The opportunity for the card is princesses and queen potential synergy. She's also good for characters with high stats who can challenge. Then she quests to heal them up. You can think about Jafar in a way, among many others of Amber or Amethyst, etc. The threats, why is she a Sapphire and not Amber with the healing? She does very much compete with Rapunzel. So for a while, this might be the cheap Rapunzel. It might be the budget Rapunzel effect, because the fact that she comes in, repairs, comes in, heals 2, and then moves forward is really great. The fact that it's repeatable, you can do it again. You're like, listen, you got to deal 5 damage to this, or you got to spot removal this. You have to find a way to get this off the table, or literally every turn, I'm just going to healing wave, healing wave, healing wave, and it's going to be really, really annoying to play again. So lots of cool synergy here, lots of things you can do with her, and that is all 13 of my cards, I believe, right? I think we got them through. We are done. We finished them. That was not as bad as I was expecting, but we did have a lot of cards that were just a little bit under the radar, and honestly, they're not very good, so it was easy to get through them. But this is only day 1, so hey, who knows what to expect moving forward the set. There's like 38 or 39 cards left or something like that, so there's a very limited amount. But we do these for every single one. You can check out the latest one here or here, wherever it ends up. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course, comment. Let me know what your favorite card revealed this week so far is. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you in the next one.